Why?
It is more than 1,50,000.
Yes, more than 1,50,000. What if I accepted the performance for 1,40,000?
Exempt.
Exempt, sir.
Hindustani music 1,40,000. So it is exempt. Now, over a period of time, I became very famous, like PV Sindhu, or like our women's hockey team, or like our men's hockey team. I became very famous. Okay. So somebody, one big company, tea company came and they asked me an endorsement. What I should do in that advertisement? I should complete a song, then I should have a sip of that tea, and I should say Vataj, and somebody will be clapping. Once I completed the performance, somebody will be clapping in the background, and I will have a sip of tea. And they paid me some 1,40,000 rupees. Chargeable or exempted?
Chargeable.
It is chargeable. It is not a performance of music. I am a brand ambassador for them. So if I go and give a performance of folk or classical art form of music, dance or theater, and charge up to 1,50,000 rupees, it is exempt. But the same myself, if I give endorsements for advertisements, it is not exempted, it is chargeable. That you should understand. Determine the GST payable if any in each of the following independent cases, assuming that GST is 18% and the service providers are registered. Bollywood dance performance by a film actor in a film and consideration charged is 1,45,000. So they called me for an item song. I went and performed an item song. Okay, don't think that it is true. Whatever example I will tell on myself. Don't think that everything is true, whatever I say. And so that Bollywood fellow called me, okay, you perform an item song, we will pay you 1,45,000. I am a Bollywood actor. Is 1,45,000 exempt because it is less than 1,50,000?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, because dance in only classical or folk art is exempt. Now this is the Bollywood dance. Is it a classical or a folk art? No. Carnatic music performance by classical singer to promote a brand of ready-made garments. It is 1,30,000 only. Is it exempt or chargeable?
Chargeable.
Chargeable. Only performance in folk or classical art in the form of music, dance or theater is exempt. Promoting a brand is not exempt. Carnatic music performance, classical singer, music concert, consideration 1,55,000. Now what?
Chargeable.
All other conditions are satisfied, but the amount exceeded
1,50,000.
Okay, so it is chargeable. Now, what is the taxable value? Is it 1,55,000 or 5,000?
1,55,000.
155. Entire amount is chargeable. Carnatic dance, Kathak dance. Now this is a classical art form in dance. Classical dancer, cultural program. Consideration is 1,45,000. Now what?
Exempt, sir.
Exempt. It is exempt because all the conditions are satisfied. Now here 1,55,000 into 18%. It is not that 1,55,000 minus 1,50,000. Not like that. On the entire 1,55,000, you have to pay tax at the rate of 18%. That you should understand. Now, we have some other exemptions, and most of the exemptions we go through now may not require any analysis part. By they themselves, the entries by themselves are self-explanatory. Okay. Service by way of admission to a place is chargeable under Schedule 2 of the CGST Act. If you want, you refer to Schedule 2. Okay, you will find it in chapter number 2, right? But museum, national park, wildlife sanctuary, tiger reserve, or a zoo is exempt. Is exempt. What do you mean by zoo? What do you mean by a zoo has been defined? We all know what do you mean by zoo. It will not include circus. Circus also they will do some feats with animals which are captivated in some cages or like that. But it is not a zoo. Zoo means zoo. It has a definition. You all know what is a zoo. I need not separately tell you. Admission to protected monument. Admission to protected monument is exempt. Okay. Next. Service by way of right to admission to circus, dance, theatrical performance, including drama or ballet, award function, concert, pageant, musical performance, sporting event other than recognized sporting event. Sporting event other than recognized sporting event, because recognized sporting event has a separate entry. Next, planetarium, where the consideration of right to admission referred to in A, B, C, D above is not more than 500 per person. So if for any of these places the ticket price does not exceed 500, then that has exemption. If the ticket price is more than that, automatically GST get attracted. What do you mean by recognized sporting event? Recognized sporting event means organized by a recognized sports body. Organized by recognized sports body, where participating team represent district, state, zone, or country. Or organized by National Sports Federation or its affiliated federations, Association of Universities, etc. And all these things we have learned in one of the earlier entries also. Now tell me, IPL match is taking place, and you bought a ticket. You bought a ticket. Then is it exempt or not? Now, can IPL be a recognized sporting event? No. This is here B point, or any sporting event is there. Any sporting event is there. Okay. So if the ticket is not more than 500, what will happen? It will be exempted. Okay. Right. Next, what do you mean by recognized sports body is also defined? What do you mean by a recognized sports body is also defined? Services by unincorporated body or a non-profit entity. Okay. Service as a trade union or for provision of carrying out any activity which is exempt from levy of goods and service tax, or up to 7,500 per month per member for sourcing goods or service from the third person for common use of its members in a housing society or a residential complex. Now let us try to analyze this particular entry, because these two entries are simple. Now, what do you mean by unincorporated body or a non-profit entity registered under any law for timing in force? Now let us understand as to what that means. Let us say there is one apartment. This we have learned previously also. There is one apartment with so many number of flats. Now let us say there is Rama Apartments. Rama Apartments. And it has some 100 flats. Rama Apartments has 100 flats. Means each flat has one owner. Means 100 flats, 100 members. Now they formed an association. They formed an association called Rama Apartments. Rama Apartments Owners Welfare Association. Rama Apartments Owners Welfare Association. Now what this association will do? This will have a president. This will have a secretary. Secretary spelling, what is secretary spelling? S-E-C-R-E-T-A-R-Y. Okay, if it is right or wrong, you understand that that is secretary. And it will have a treasurer. And it will have a treasurer. It will have a president, secretary, treasurer. Now what these fellows will do? They will collect monthly charges. They will collect monthly charges from each of the owner. Now let us say maybe some of you might be living in apartments. Can anyone suggest as to what is the monthly maintenance charges which you have to pay to your welfare association? Many of you might be living in apartments. Someone tell me what is your monthly maintenance charges of your flat in your apartments? Nobody know. Will anyone answer?
2,100.
2,000?
100.
Okay, very good, very good. So 2,500 per month they will collect. So how much they are getting? 2500,100. So monthly 2,50,000 rupees they will collect from all the apartments, from tenants or from the owners. If owner stay there, owner will pay. If tenant stay there, tenant will pay. Now, for what purpose this amount will be used? This amount shall be utilized for the purpose of procuring common goods or services. For procuring common goods or services. Now, actually, this is as treated as a supply of service as per Schedule 2. A unincorporated association to its members is treated as a supply of a service as per Schedule 2 of the CGST Act. If for the sake of confirmation, you please refer to Schedule 2, which is given in your chapter 2 of your study material. Okay. Now, this is a service as per Schedule 2. It is subjected to GST. But you have an exemption wherein you have an exemption wherein if the monthly per month, if the amount does not exceed 7,500 per member, then there is an exemption. There is an exemption that you should understand. Also, service provided by unincorporated body or not-profit entity engaged in activities relating to welfare of industrial or agricultural labor or farmers, or promotion of trade, commerce, industry, agriculture, art, science, literature, culture, sports, education, social welfare, charitable activities, and protection of environment to its own members, but the contribution should not exceed 1,000 per member per year. That you should understand. There will be many trade bodies. Let us say Kirana Merchants Association, Timber Merchants Association, Dal Millers Association, Rice Millers Association, Rice Millers Association. Like this, you have many associations. So all the traders in the same line of business. Some traders deal with Kirana items. So all those Kirana traders, merchants come together, they form an association. Now, why do they form an association? They form an association to serve its members. So individually, they may not be in a position to settle issues, or individually they may not be that much strong. But if they form an association, they can share the information among themselves. Let us say they are dealing in some goods. Now, whether that good is exempted under GST or whether it is chargeable, or if chargeable at what rate. or the food and drug control officers are coming, and what they are doing for now and then, every now and then they are coming to the shops and they are checking, and they are subjecting the traders to undue hardships. Now, a single fellow may not be able to in a position to face them, but as an association, if he come to that association and he will place the matter before the association, then the association as a whole can go and represent to the appropriate authorities that so and so officer is subjecting the traders to undue hardships. Now, if this be the case, it will be difficult to carry on the business. So you please keep a check on that officer so that he will not be resorting to these type of undue hardships. They can go and represent. So for those purposes, for their own benefit, they will form into an association. To run the association, they have some common expenditure which has to be met. They will all of them contribute by way of subscriptions. Okay. Now that if it is up to 1,000 per member per year, it is exempt. Now, this resident welfare association, they can form into a cooperative housing society. They may be registered, but these registered cooperative housing societies is nothing but a club. But most of them don't get registered. But some may get themselves registered. Now, they are famously called as resident welfare association. What they will do, they will provide services to its members, and the activities of residents welfare association will be subjected to GST unless they are exempted specifically. So if the cooperative housing society, or famously what we call it as a resident welfare association, it supplies services to its members, means flat owners. To flat owners, it will supply service. Now this is chargeable unless it is exempt. Now there is an exemption on the services provided by the resident welfare associations. Now, in the previous example, what our friend told, 2,500 per month into 100 flats. How much? 2,50,000 per month into 12 months. How much it became? 24,6, 30 lakhs it has become. So every year, these apartments, group of apartments, the welfare association will collect 30 lakhs. Means which is greater than 20 lakhs. Means registration is compulsory, because the basic threshold limit for service is 20 lakhs only. In some states it is 10 lakhs only. In some states it is 10 lakh, but for most of the states it is 20 lakhs. You know what is the exemption limit for the special category states, etc. We already learned in chapter 1 or 2. There you can again, if you have a doubt, you can refer. Right. So if the annual aggregated turnover does not exceed 20 lakh, there is no need of registration. If you are not liable to get yourself registered, it is then no need to pay GST also. But If your aggregate turnover exceeds 30 lakhs or exceeds 20 lakhs, you have to take the registration. If you have to take the or if you take the registration, you are liable to pay tax. You are liable to pay tax. But if you are supplying exempted services or if you are supplying exempted goods, then even though you are registered, you need not pay the GST and you have to file the returns. In that return, you will mention that your services or goods are exempt. Okay. Now, let us say this 30 lakhs per annum is there. So registration has been taken because they have an obligation to take the registration. But what happened? These group of apartments, per member, how much they are collecting? They are collecting only 2,500 per month. But you have an exemption of 7,500 per month. Now tell me, should this resident welfare association take registration, yes or no? Should this resident welfare association take registration, yes or no? Because they have exceeded the threshold limit, they have to take. But there is another exemption, that if an entity provides wholly exempt services, then they need not take registration. But sometimes what will happen, these fellows may be providing some chargeable services and some exempted services. For example, for some of the flats, they are collecting 8,000 per month. For some of the flats, what they are doing, they are collecting 8,000 per month. So what happened? They are providing some chargeable services. They are providing some chargeable services. What happened is, a resident welfare association has taken registration, but the amount of charges collected from all the members is less than 7,500 per member. Then no GST will be levied, because as per this entry, for charges up to 7,500, it is exempted. So there is a resident welfare association and it collects maintenance charges of 6,000 per month per member. In this case, you need not pay GST because there is an exemption up to 7,500 per member per month. If 9,000 per member is collected, then what will happen is GST shall be payable on the entire amount of 9,000. Previously, for a performance by an artist, same we have told, if he charges 1,55,000, GST is to be paid on 1,55,000, but not on 5,000. Here also same. Up to 7,500 exempt. If it exceeds 7,500, the entire amount is chargeable. Now, suppose the aggregate turnover of the society or resident welfare association is less than the threshold. Monthly contribution of all individuals towards maintenance is less than 7,500. Now, no other taxable services they are providing. Then exclusively providing wholly exempt service, they need not take registration. That is what I was referring to a bit earlier. You are providing exclusively exempted services, though your turnover, aggregate turnover exceeds the threshold limit, but still you need not take registration, provided you are not providing any taxable services. It should be wholly exempt service. You are providing wholly exempted goods. You are providing wholly exempted goods. Then you need not provide, you need not take a registration. Now, the turnover of Resident Welfare Association, Bulbul Housing Society, in a financial year is 15 lakhs. Collected maintenance charges of 6,000 per month per member. It is not providing any other taxable service to its members. Now, should the Bulbul Housing Society take registration under GST? No, not at all necessary. Why? Because its aggregate turnover is only 15 lakhs. Also, per member it is charging only 6,000 per month. It is exempt by virtue of this entry. So they need not take registration. GST is not required to be paid. Suppose the total turnover is 15 lakhs, aggregate turnover is 15 lakhs. From some members it is collecting 6,000 per month. From some members it is collecting 8,000 per month. Now you may ask me, sir, why such discrimination? Why from some flat owners they are collecting 6,000 and why from some other flat owners they are collecting 8,000? Why such a discrimination? Now can anyone answer why? Just make, sorry, can you repeat your answer once again? Will anyone answer?
More family members.
Low salary members.
More family members, sir.
So they are charging based upon the family members. Right. It might be, maybe, I don't think I have come across such a situation, but I will tell you that someone gave through chat box, depending upon the space of the house. Okay, right. Let us say those apartments have both 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom apartments, flats. So for 2-bedroom flat, they will charge 6,000 per month. For 3-bedroom flat, they will charge 8,000 per month. Okay, that is one of the reasons. That might be one of the reasons. Okay, but depending upon the family members, I don't think so. Yeah, someone is answering that some flats may be luxury flats. Generally, depending upon the space, they will charge. Right. So for 2-bedroom flat, they are charging 6,000 per month. For 3-bedroom flat, they are charging 8,000 per month. The aggregate turnover of the Residential Welfare Association is 15 lakhs. Now tell me whether registration is required, yes or no. Whether registration is required, yes or no.
Yes, sir.
No need. Why unnecessarily? Until 20 lakhs, you need not take registration and pay tax. The aggregate turnover is only 15 lakhs. So if the aggregate turnover does not exceed 20 lakhs rupees, they need not take registration. Not necessary. Okay, because until 20 lakhs, you need not pay tax. Right. Now, in the above example, other things remaining the same. If maintenance charges collected by the Resident Welfare Association are 8,000 per month, 8,000 per month, they need not take a registration where because the turnover did not exceed 20 lakhs. The turnover was only 15 lakhs. If the turnover is only 15 lakhs, then even though per member they are charging 8,000, they need not take registration because threshold limit is not exceeded. Now, there is a Resident Welfare Association, is unregistered welfare association, turnover is greater than 20 lakhs. If turnover is greater than 20 lakhs, if monthly charges are more than 7,500 per month, then tax is payable. If turnover is not greater than 20 lakhs, turnover is not greater than 20 lakhs, is monthly charge greater than 7,500? Yes, tax is not payable. No nonsense. Why this flow chart? Simply I will tell. Simply I will tell. When GST is payable by Resident Welfare Association, two conditions are to be satisfied. Aggregate turnover greater than 20 lakhs and per member per month greater than 7,500. If both the conditions are satisfied, GST is payable. That's all. Okay. If both the conditions are satisfied, GST is payable. Now, all the time I was telling it as 20 lakhs limit, but in respect of certain states, Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura, the threshold limit for services is 10 lakhs only. Right. Now, the annual turnover is more than 20 lakhs. Monthly maintenance more than 7,000 charge. 7,500 or less exempt. Monthly turnover 20 lakhs or less. More than 7,500. Now, if it is 20 lakhs or less, no need to pay at all, because if it is within a threshold limit, if it is within threshold limit, no need to pay at all. But your aggregate turnover is exceeding 20 lakhs, you pay only for 7,500 or more flats. Okay. Now, sometimes what will happen is, now I have two children. A daughter and a boy. Now, what I want to do, I want to arrange a flat for each of my kids. So, a construction of flats is going on. Now somebody has a doubt, sir, why you have only two children? Why don't you try for another one? Is it the chat box question? No, fortunately no. Within threshold, but if he takes registration voluntarily. Okay. Someone has a doubt. The Resident Welfare Association, the aggregate turnover is 18 lakhs. Now, this fellow has taken registration. This fellow has taken registration. He took registration. Now, the person who has asked me the question, Abid. Now, Abid, tell me, what is the monthly charge? Tell me. You tell me what is the monthly charge? Quickly.
8,000 from one apartment and from others it's 2,000.
Sorry?
From one apartment 8,000 and from others it's 2,000.
One apartment or one flat? One flat, it is 8,000. One flat, it is 8,000. So GST pay. Pay GST, that's all. No other way, because it is not exempted. If the monthly charge exceeds 7,500, charge. Why? Because you took the registration. Up to 20 lakhs, you need not take the registration. But if you voluntarily take the registration, for taxable items, you have to pay GST. That's all, no other way. Okay, for another flat, how much you told me?
Maybe 2,000.
Sorry?
2,000 is fixed.
2,000. Is it 2,000? This is exempt. This is exempt. Okay, now is your doubt clear?
Yes, sir.
Right, very good. Your doubt is clear, right? So, your doubt is clear. Now, I will come to the another example. I have two children. I thought of by their marriage takes place, by the time their marriage takes place, I want to give them one flat at the time of the marriage, so that they will be living happily in that flat, right? Now, I took these two flats. Now, what I have done is, I have taken these two flats. I have taken these two flats. Okay. I have taken the flats in my own name. In my name only. I have taken the flats. I will give to them only at the time of their marriage. Okay. Now, for each flat, I have to pay 6,000 as maintenance charges. As maintenance charges. So in total, I am paying 12,000. Now, is GST applicable in my case? Yes or no? Not applicable. Per flat, per month. It is not the ownership which counts. It is per flat per month, 7,500. the threshold limit of 7,500 is to be counted per flat per month. If a person has 2 flats, he will be paying 2 maintenance charges, but you have to take it separately only. That you should understand. Okay, so Garib Chand owns 2 residential apartments and pays 15,000 per month. Now 15,000 means 7,500 plus 7,500 became 15,000 for 2 flats. For 2 flats. Now exemption is available. Why? Because you have to take it as per flat per month. You have to take it as per flat per month. Now, for the Resident Welfare Association, ITC is available. We will understand as to what do you mean by ITC when we come to the input tax credit chapter. There we will understand it at length. So input tax credit is available on capital goods as well as normal goods. Okay. Now, and the balance amount only you have to pay it as a tax. But one more thing what you have to understand is statutory dues like property tax, electricity charges, etc. forming part of the monthly maintenance bill by the society on its members would be excluded while computing the aforesaid limit of 7,500. So this is based upon the circular number 109 and also the CBIC frequently asked questions. So while calculating this 7,500 limit, municipal tax, electricity charges, etc., which are statutory dues, they have to be reduced from this 7,500, which is forming part of the monthly maintenance bill. That has to be reduced. Now, Resident Welfare Association of Tintin Housing Society, registered under GST, collects maintenance charges of 9,000 per month per member. 1,000 members, very big resident welfare association, very big resident welfare association. So 9,000 into 1,000, how much it became? 9,000,000 means 90 lakhs. 90 lakhs. Now during the month the output tax is 90 lakhs. Now what it has done, it has taken or it has purchased some goods on which GST paid is 1,000 and on electrical cables it paid GST of 20,000 rupees. On plumbing service it paid 15,000. So all these things are available as input tax credit. So 1,35,000 it can be take as input tax credit and only the balance it has to pay. Only the balance it has to pay. So the issue I will sum up. I will sum up the issues which we have learned in the Resident Welfare Association or a cooperative housing society. As per Schedule 2 of CGST Act, services provided by unincorporated body or association to its members is chargeable. Point number 1, as service. But we have an entry in the notification number 12 of central tax rate notification, wherein if the unincorporated body or association is carrying out as a trade union or in respect of resident welfare association, trade union exempt, resident welfare association 7,500 per month per flat is exempt. Two conditions are to be satisfied. The aggregate turnover of the residential welfare association should exceed the threshold limit, and per month per flat should exceed 7,500. Your aggregate turnover exceeded 20 lakhs, but for some flats you are taking 6,000, for some other flats you are taking 8,000. For the flats you are taking 6,000 exempt. For the flats you are taking 8,000, it is chargeable. You did not exceed the threshold limit. Your aggregate turnover is 18 lakhs only. First, you took the registration. For some flats you are taking 6,000 exempt. For some flats you are taking 8,000 chargeable. You have two flats in your own name. Charges for each flat does not exceed 7,500, but together it will exceed 7,500. Then chargeable. Someone has a doubt. Sir, flats under residential and association includes even penthouse. If penthouse is also paying, or if the penthouse is also required to pay monthly maintenance charges, then it will come. If penthouse also is required to pay maintenance charges, it will be counted. Okay. Next. One more.
వస్తుండే మెల్లగా.
Yes.
ఈడ ఆటోలు చక్కగా దొరకవు, మెయిన్ రోడ్ దాకా నడుచుకుంటూ పోవాలా, అందుకని అంటున్నా.
ఓసారి దొరుకుతాయి కదండి,
ఓసారి అంటే ఎప్పుడన్నా ఒకసారి దొరుకుతాయి, ఇప్పుడు లేకపోతే
అవే దొరుకుతాయి.
ఏ వద్దు.
Right. So, and one more thing, in respect of input services and input goods, you can take ITC if it is not a blocked ITC. One more thing, if the monthly subscription charges also include contribution towards statutory dues like electricity and property tax, from that 7,500 you have to, or from that subscription you have to exclude the contribution towards property tax and electricity charges. Okay. Right. Next. We will move on. So if you have any doubts in respect of this entry, you may ask me, else I will move forward. If you have any doubt with respect to any other item in this particular entry, I will try to answer, else I will move forward. This was discussed at length. Okay. Right. Right, we'll move forward. Other exempt service. Transfer of a going concern as a whole. What do you mean by transfer of a going concern? You have to transfer a running business which is being capable of being carried on by the purchaser as an independent business. So normally as a going concern means you should sell it as a slump sale. You should sell it as a slump sale. So business as a whole, you should transfer. A has set up an ice cream parlor. Ice cream parlor. So he has made all the interior decoration. He has bought all the refrigerator systems, etc., etc., etc. Now he started to run that ice cream parlor. After 1 year, now this ice cream parlor, what happened? It has caught the attention of many college going boys and girls. So what they have started? They started forking into this ice cream parlor in the evenings. Okay, couples used to come, sit there for long hours, have a 1 or 2 ice creams, and they started liking this ice cream parlor. Like they have started liking this place. Now, as a result, the goodwill also this ice cream parlor, the goodwill also went up to very great heights. Now this fellow want to encash this. So some other enthusiastic entrepreneur came to him and he offered this sale of ice cream shop as a whole. As a whole, 25 lakhs. Now this is called as selling it as a going concern. Transfer as a going concern. Okay. So now this is also a supply. But if you transfer, because disposal is a supply. Disposal is a supply as per section 7. As per section 7, disposal is a supply. Okay. Now you transfer, if you are going to transfer as a going concern, then you will get the exemption. Okay. Now, Royal Hotel Group is in the business of running a chain of restaurants. It intends to sell its business as a going concern. Now, GST is not payable. It is exempt. Now, service provided by Federation International de Football Association and its subsidiaries, World Cup 2020, to be hosted in India. Now, was it hosted? I don't think so. So, keeping in mind that this be hosted, they gave exemption, but I don't think it has happened. I don't think that sporting event has taken place in India. Supply of service associated with the transit cargo to Nepal and Bhutan, exempt. Renting of residential dwelling house for residents, this is important. You keep in mind this one. I have a flat, residential flat. I have let it out. It is exempt. It is exempt by virtue of entry number 12. I have a godown. I have let it out. It is chargeable. No exemption. It is chargeable. No exemption. renting of residential dwelling for residents. I have a flat. I have let it out to another chartered accountant. I have a residential flat in an apartment. I let it out to my friend chartered accountant. But that fellow is not using for his residence. He is using it as his office. Now, is exemption available? Yes or no? No, no, because exemption is available only when I let out a residential house for residential use. Service by a hotel, inn, guest house, club, campsite, whatever name called, for residential or lodging purpose. Value of supply equal to below or equal to 1,000 per day. So you remember, tomorrow you may go to a audit. Now you are an article student. Your principal may send you for an audit to another town or city. There you took a hotel accommodation. Now that fellow, that hotel fellow charged the bill 900 plus GST. What will you say? You should say that you should not charge GST because per day, if the charge does not exceed 1,000 rupees, there is an exemption under GST. So you should not charge. Now another room, the next audit you went to another city or town. There the room charge per day is 1,100. Now is GST applicable? Yes or no? Yes, applicable.
Yes.
Now, satellite launch service by ISRO or Antrix Corporation or New Space India Limited is exempt. Service by way of giving on hire to a state transport undertaking. What do you mean by state transport undertaking? There we learned the definition when near goods transport agency. Near transportation of goods and passengers. There we learned what do you mean by state transport undertaking definition. Now you are giving on hire to a state transport corporation undertaking a motor vehicle to carry more than 12 passengers. This is applicable to only services provided to state transport undertaking and not other departments of government. That you should understand. There is APS RTC. Now, this APS RTC runs bench bus, AC, luxury bench bus, air conditioned from Vijayawada to Hyderabad and to and fro. Okay. Now this bench bus may cost 80 lakhs. APS RTC is a state road transport undertaking. Now these fellows will not have money to buy those buses. So what they will do? They will take hire. They will take hire buses. Now I have money. I bought one bench bus and gave it to APS RTC for hire. They pay me 1 lakh per month as rent. Now tell me, is it exempt, yes or no? Is it exempt, yes or no? It is exempt because I gave a motor vehicle meant to carry more than 12 passengers to a state transport undertaking. APSRTC is a state transport undertaking. I gave it to them. So it is exempt. Please repeat entry number 22. Oh. If any motor vehicle meant to carry more than 12 passengers is given on rent or hire to a state transport or undertaking, then it is exempt. I bought a bench bus and gave it on rent to APSRTC. APSRTC pay me 1,000 per month as rent, 1 lakh per month as rent. This 1 lakh per month as rent is exempt by virtue of entry number 22. By virtue of entry number 22, that 1 lakh rent is exempt. Next. To a local authority, electrically operated vehicle to carry more than 12 passengers, it is exempt. To a goods transport agency, so I bought a lorry, means goods carriage vehicle. Goods carriage vehicle. I gave it on hire to a goods transport agency. This fellow will pay me 40,000 per month as rent. This 40,000 per month rent which I get is exempt. Now, Nishant owns a truck. He has rented to Sindhu and Bansal Transport Agency. Now, here, a means of transport for goods alone is exempt. So, if I give a means of transport to carry passengers, it is chargeable. But a means of transport to carry passengers, if I give it to a state transport undertaking, it is exempt. Motor vehicle for transport of students, faculty, staff to a person providing service of transportation of students, faculty and staff to an educational institution, providing service by way of preschool education and education up to higher secondary or equivalents. Actually, in respect of educational institutions, services are divided into two: output, input. In input, transportation of students, faculty, staff is exempt, but only up to higher secondary school. Now, A is providing such service, but I am X. I gave the bus on rent to A. The output service provided by A is exempt. So the bus which I gave it on rent to A is also exempt by virtue of this entry. By virtue of this entry number 22. By virtue of this entry number 22, it is exempt. Next, services by way of access to road, bridge by payment of toll charges. So toll charges, there is no GST. Service by way of access to a road or bridge on payment of annuity, means monthly charges you are paying. Then also it is not subjected to GST. Transmission or distribution of electricity by an electricity transmission distribution utility is exempt. But other services are not exempt. What are the other services? Application fees for connection, rental charges for meters. So what is exempt? Only transmission or distribution of electricity is exempt. But the others like testing, labor charges, charges for duplicate bills, etc. are subjected to GST. Okay. We have 2 more pages. We will quickly go through those pages. It may take some 5 minutes more because these entries have no analysis part to be done. So we will go through them. Services provided by Incubati up to a total turnover of 50 lakhs in a financial year, but there are certain conditions. The total turnover has not exceeded 50 lakhs during the preceding financial year, and only 3 years for the first 3 years. For the first 3 years alone, the exemption is available. Okay, what do you mean by Incubati has been defined? Service by way of licensing, registration, analysis, testing of food samples by FSSAI to food business operators. So FSSAI charges are exempt. Taxable services provided by TBI or STEP to NSTEBD or bio incubators is exempt. Services of collecting or providing news by independent journalists, PTI or United News of India is exempt. Public libraries exempt. Business exhibition held outside India exempt. Services provided by an organizer in respect of business exhibition conducted outside India is exempt. Slaughtering of animals is exempt. Preconditioning, pre-cooling, ripening, waxing, retail packing, labeling of fruits and vegetables which do not change the essential characteristic is exempt. Service by National Center for Cold Chain Development is exempt. Under the Ministry of Agriculture, by way of cold chain knowledge dissemination, by way of cold chain knowledge dissemination is exempt. Okay. Service by foreign diplomatic mission located in India is exempt. Providing information under RTI Act is exempt. services provided to recognized sports body by an individual player, referee, umpire, coach, team manager for participating in sports event organized by the recognized sports body, or one recognized sports body to another recognized sports body. But selectors, commentators, curators, technical experts are taxable. Now, let us take the example of IPL. Player to IPL franchisee is not exempt. Why? Because the IPL franchisee is not a recognized sporting body. Let us say Virat Kohli provide service to BCCI. It is exempt. Why? Because BCCI is a recognized sporting body. But Virat Kohli, if he provides a service to his IPL franchisee, to which team does Virat Kohli belong in IPL? Can anyone tell?
RCB.
RCB.
RCB. Very good. You are quick in your answer. What is entry number 6 in notification number 12 of 2017? Dhoni, to which IPL team he is representing?
CSK.
Very good. So you will fire the answer at me when I ask this. Now, how can you remember that Dhoni is representing CSK? Because you are interested in IPL. Because you watch IPL every day whenever the match comes. So if you also read the GST subject, you will be able to answer the question immediately. Right. So if Dhoni provides service to CSK team, exemption is not applicable. Now tell me, Harsha Bogle is a commentator. Now, will he get exemption? Yes or no?
No,
No.
sir.
No, because this exemption is not applicable to commentators. Services provided by operators of common biomedical waste treatment facility to a clinical establishment by way of treatment or disposal of biomedical waste or processes incidental thereto is exempt. Public conveniences exempt. Sulabh complex exempt. Service by way of right to admission to the event organized by FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup 2020. I don't think that this has happened, and never know will it happen or not. Fine. So limited liability partnership will have the same meaning, or shall also be considered as a partnership for a firm or a firm. Now, so these are all the entries relating to exemption from services. So did any one of you compile the past examination questions? Yes or no? Yes or no? So what you will do is, on Monday when we meet, you prepare the questions and be ready, so that we'll be going through those questions apart from self-assessment test. Okay, so for today we will conclude the session and we shall meet on Monday.